Hey everyone, welcome back to Kiran Tech AI. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a long chat with an AI and then it suddenly forgets what you told it at the start? It feels like the AI has a bad memory, but that is not really what is happening. The real reason is something called the context window. It is one of the most important ideas in all of AI, and once you understand it, the AI will stop feeling confusing. So today, we will learn exactly what a context window is, why the AI forgets, and how you can use it to get much better answers. Let's begin. So let's start with a simple picture, the one on your screen. Think of the AI as having a small working table in front of it. Everything the AI is using right now sits on that table. Your question, the chat so far, and any files you shared. And here is the key rule. The AI can only read what is on the table. If something is on the table, the AI can use it. If it is not on the table, the AI simply cannot see it. That table is the context window. It is not the AI. It's full knowledge. It's just the small space of things it is looking at right now to answer you. Keep this table in your mind for the whole video. Now, how big is this table? It is measured in tokens. If you saw our last video, you know a token is a small piece of text, a word or part of a word. Watch the screen. Your sentence gets broken into these token blocks, and everything on the table is counted in tokens. Not only your question, but the full chat history, any files, and even the AI's own answer. Look at the counter climbing. A short question might be 500 tokens, but add a long history in a big file, and it jumps to 7,500 and more. So the context window is really a token budget. Everything you place in front of the AI spends a part of that budget. Here's the next thing to understand. The more you put on the table, the more work the AI has to do. Watch the screen. As the amount of information rises, the processing rises with it. Every token in the context has to be read and considered before the AI can reply. And this part is important. Every AI model has a maximum context size. The table is not endless. It has a fixed edge. Each model is built with a limit. It could be 8,000 tokens or 100,000 or more. You can fill the table right up to that edge, but you cannot go past it. So context is powerful, but it always has a cost in work and a hard limit in size. So what happens when the table is completely full? Watch the screen. There is no space left for anything new, but you might keep typing or try to add another file. The AI cannot just grow the table. The limit is fixed, so something has to give. This is where the app around the AI steps in. When the context is full, the app has three choices. 1, it can remove the oldest messages to make room. 2, it can summarize the old chat into a shorter version, so it takes fewer tokens. Or 3, it can simply reject the new input and tell you it is too long. Different apps do this in different ways, but the rule is always the same. A full table must be cleared somehow before new things can fit. Let's look closer at the most common choice. Remove the oldest. The screen shows it well. The context window is a fixed length, like a table of a fixed size. So when new messages come in, the oldest ones are pushed off the other end and out. New in, old out. And here's the part that answers our very first question. Once a message is pushed off the table, it is no longer in the context. And if something is not in the context, the AI may not be able to use it at all. So when the AI seems to forget the start of a long chat, it is not being careless. That early message has simply left the table. The AI is not forgetting, it just cannot see it anymore. Now this brings us to a very important difference, and the screen lays it out side by side. The context window is not the same as memory. They sound similar, but they are not. The context window is a temporary working space. It holds what the AI is using right now, and it is wiped clean after each request, like the table being cleared after every meal. Memory is different. Memory, when an app has it, is saved information that is kept for future conversations. Things the AI remembers about you next time. But not every AI system has memory, so keep this clear in your head. Context is temporary, and it resets. Memory is saved, and it stays. When people say the AI forgot, they almost always mean the context, not the memory. You have probably seen numbers like these next to AI models: 8K, 32K, 128K, even 1M. So what do they mean? It is simple. The K just means thousand and the M means million. So 8K is about 8,000 tokens and 1M is about 1 million tokens. These numbers are the size of the table, roughly how many tokens the model can hold in one request. A bigger number means a bigger table, so you can fit more on it at once, a longer chat, or a bigger document. When you pick a model, this number tells you how much it can look at in a single go. Bigger is roomier, but as we will see next, bigger is not always the best choice. So let's see why a bigger table can really help. Look at the two sides on the screen. On the left, a small context. Only a few pages of a document fit on the table at once. So the AI can only see part of the picture, and it gives you a partial answer. It is missing the rest. Now look on the right, a larger context. Now the whole document fits on the table together. The AI can compare different sections, see how they connect, and find patterns across all of it. So it gives you a much better, more complete summary. That is the real benefit of a bigger context. More can fit at once, so the AI has the full picture instead of just one small piece of it. But be careful, because this surprises a lot of people. Bigger is not always better. Watch the screen. On one side, a huge but messy context. The table is piled high with everything, including many things that have nothing to do with your question. On the other side, a clean, relevant context. Only the things that actually matter are on the table, and the clean one wins. It gives a faster and more correct answer. Why? Because models can get confused when the context is full of noise. If the important detail is buried under a pile of unrelated text, the AI can miss it. So more information is helpful, but relevant information is better. A clean table beats a crowded one, almost every time. This is exactly why big files need care. Look at the screen. Here is a report, 200 pages long. When you give a file like this to an AI, it does not keep it as a file. It pulls out all the text and turns it into tokens. And 200 pages becomes a huge number of tokens. That can fill the whole table on its own, leaving no room for anything else. So what do good AI tools do? Watch the screen. Instead of dumping all 200 pages onto the table, they search the document first and place only the most relevant pages into the context, the pages that actually answer your question. This way, the table holds the useful parts, not the whole book, and you get a better answer using far fewer tokens. The same idea is true for code. Look at the screen. Here's a full code base with thousands and thousands of lines. It is tempting to give the AI everything, the whole project at once. But the model does not need all of it. It usually only needs the few files that relate to your actual task. If you put the entire code base on the table, most of it is just noise, and it fills your context for nothing. So the lesson on the screen is a great one to remember. Give the right context, not everything. A few correct files will beat the whole project, almost every time. So how do you use context wisely in your own prompts? The screen shows the two ways, side by side. On the left is a messy prompt. The context is bloated. It is stuffed with extra text, old details, and things the AI does not need. The noise is high. The AI has to dig through all of it, and the answer often gets worse. On the right is a clean context package. You send only what matters for this one question: the key facts, the right file, a clear instruction. Nothing extra. This is the habit that separates people who get great results from AI from people who get poor ones. Before you send it, ask yourself a simple question. Does the AI really need this part to answer me? If yes, keep it. If no, leave it out. Send what matters and nothing more. And here's a very practical reason to keep your context clean. It affects both cost and speed. Look at the screen. Every token in your context has to be processed. So the more tokens you send, the more each request costs you in money. And not just money. More context also means more to read, so the answer comes back slower. A small, focused context is cheap and fast. A huge, stuffed context is expensive and slow. So the goal is balance. Use enough context to give the AI what it needs, but not everything you have, enough, not everything. Before we wrap up, let's clear up a few common misunderstandings about the context window. First, the context window is not the AI's memory. As we saw, it is a temporary working space, and it is wiped after each request. Second, a bigger context window does not mean the AI is smarter. It just means more can fit on the table at once. And third, filling the context completely is not a good thing. A clean, relevant context usually works better than a full, messy one. Get these three right, and you already understand context windows better than most people who use AI every day. Now let's put the whole journey together, from start to finish, the way the screen shows it. First, you write your prompt. That prompt, plus the chat history and any files, becomes the context, everything placed on the AI's table. Then the model reads that whole context, every token of it, and uses it to think. And finally, it gives you an answer. Here is the one big idea to take away. The answer depends completely on what is in the context. Good context in, good answer out. Messy or missing context, and the answer suffers. The AI is only ever as good as what you put on its table. So in summary, let's lock in what a context window really is. The context window is simply what the AI can use right now to answer you, the things on its table at this very moment. It is measured in tokens, it has a fixed size, and it is wiped clean after each request. And the secret to getting great answers is not just a bigger window. It is giving the AI context that is clear, relevant, and well organized. Do that, and even a small window will give you excellent results. So the next time an AI seems to forget, remember this. It is usually not a memory problem, it is a context problem. And the good news is, that is something you control. Better context leads to better answers. If this video helped the context window finally make sense, please give it a like and subscribe to Kiran Tech AI, where we explain AI and cloud in simple words every single week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.